What's up, guys, and welcome back as usual. I think you guys all know the big thing that's going on with my channel right now. We have just cracked 1,000 subscribers. That's a pretty big deal in any YouTube channel's life, and it's going to entail some changes, some new ideas, nothing major right away. But what I thought we would do in this video is a couple things. One, there's no better way to celebrate your success than reminding yourself how far you've come. So we're going to take a look at probably the worst car video I've ever made. Most of you have probably not seen this. This was actually sort of a first attempt at doing a YouTube channel. And at the time, I really didn't know very much about it. My equipment wasn't very good and my know-how was even worse. So it's pretty bad, but I saved it just in case, and now seems like an appropriate time to let you guys see little bits of it and see what's going on. And along the way, I'm also going to tell you guys about a couple changes that I'm going to make that you can help me with if you would like to. But first, let's go ahead and jump into this video and catch a little of this. To introduce my 90 Mazda Miata. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to review a couple of the parts that have already been installed. First thing I had to do when I got the car. Quick cut here. I am so sorry. As you can see, I was obviously editing this with Windows Movie Maker. And I don't know why I filmed the whole thing with the phone turned the wrong way. I have no explanation for that. I realize it looks terrible now, and I don't know how I didn't notice it then, but... ...was install this OBX catback exhaust, because unfortunately the factory exhaust was destroyed. Fitment was great, price was pretty good too. I think I'm pretty happy with it overall. I think it looks fine. Tip's a little big. We'll give you some sound clips and see what you think. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, this is a 90 Mazda Miata that I had. Interesting note, this is actually the last car I owned right before I bought my 99 GTP. So that was my first supercharged Grand Prix, which then led to, well, now I have 3 of them. But I had this car for a little while. I really enjoyed it as far as like it was a good handling car and it was light. It was hopelessly impractical if you needed to carry anything with you. And it was really, really underpowered. But that's actually sort of what led me to look for a GTP, because in my next car, I wanted something that A, had a back seat, and B, had some reasonably decent amount of power. And specifically, I was looking for torque, which is what made the supercharged 3800 such a contender. Another issue I noticed in the car right after getting it was, if you look right in here, you can see this valve cover gasket leaking oil pretty decently, and that is going to be something we're going to be taking care of today. Okay, so in doing this today, here's some of the tools that we're going to be using. Obviously, you're going to need a 3/8 ratchet. It's an extension in case we need it. 12mm socket, a 10mm socket, and then I like to use this cordless wrench here just for removing things so you don't have to torque them. Well, I'll explain what this is for in a bit. And of course, cotton candy Faygo, because cotton candy. All right, I've already got a little bit. Okay, 2 quick things about this scene. First, I absolutely stand by the fact that cotton candy Faygo is delicious. Second of all, one thing I did not continue doing, this is the only time I did it for the most part, was that laying out the tools that I'm going to use thing in videos before I did it. I kind of haven't done that for a couple reasons. One is because it changes so much. I mean, like if you remember my sway bar video, the new sway bar end links versus the old ones didn't even have the same size nuts. And a lot of times you don't even know going in which sizes of wrenches and sockets that you're gonna need. I could do more of that if that's something that helps you guys out, but for the most part, I just kind of try to show it as I'm using it, which I think seems to work better. Also, take a quick break here to mention something else. A first announcement with the channel. I wanted to do a giveaway this time, like I did at my 500 subscribers episode. However, in my current situation, the budget is just shot, it just wasn't there. Now, being over 1,000 subscribers and being eligible for the partner program, it is possible that ads will be showing up on my channel before too much longer. Sorry to tell you guys that, but hopefully that may generate a small amount of revenue, which I can use to put back into the channel so I can do more stuff like that for you guys. But there are a couple ways that you guys can help get me there faster if you're interested in doing so. The first of which is buying my shirts. And I'm super prepared, so I'm not even wearing one right now. I have a couple new designs, which are definitely worth checking out. And if you like any of them, you can check out my Teespring and buy some. I don't make 100% of that profit. I only get a small kickback, and I keep the prices as low as I can. So I don't make very much, but anything that I get does help. So check those out. Okay, so you can check that out, and I've got one other thing coming I want to announce too, but first let's watch some more of this video. Get started here. Basically, the first couple things you're going to do is you're going to remove these two bolts back here so that this bracket is loose, so you can get it out of the way. These two in the front, you're going to pull this PCV valve out and tuck it out of the way, and this PCV hose, which will look different on your car. With them out of the way, the next thing to do is just to pull these spark plug wires. Once again, tuck them out of the way. Then all we're going to do is we're going to go around and take all of these bolts out in a circular pattern, starting with this one. So I've removed all of those bolts, and with everything else that we removed being out of the way, putting that right there. Now you should be able to just grab this thing and it should come right off. There she is. And this is a great opportunity to inspect things like your timing belt. Look at the inside of the engine. This one is actually pretty clean. I'm pretty happy with the way this one looks. So now we've got valve cover prep. Right here we've already done most of the prep work. It's already been cleaned and stripped. We've done a little modifying. I'll explain more about that later. And we have the first base coat of our new paint down. Right now we're using a wrinkle black. Okay, and here we have the finished product. What I decided to go with here was a black wrinkle with a bright red splatter on top, sort of going for a blood splatter kind of effect. Okay, so one last step before you put the valve cover back on. Right here in this corner. Okay, so next point to be made here. I really like the way the valve cover on that turned out. The blood splatter thing was pretty cool. I did also find out along the way, but not in this video, that when I got that thing, the distributor was not timed right either, and it was really low on power. So imagine a 90 horsepower car with retarded ignition timing. You can imagine it barely made it up the hill at all. So anyway, moving along. But anyway, on the second piece of channel news, I have made another change in an attempt to help expand what I'm able to do, and that is I have started a Patreon page. Now, I know that some people are sort of opposed to Patreon. Some people see it as greedy. I will tell you right away, I do not expect a lot of support on that page. I certainly am not going to have any hurt feelings if no one decides to become a Patreon. But I wanted it to be there as an option in case anyone does want to support me. And I do have ideas on how to use that correctly to create a little more connected of a community, but also to allow the channel to be able to do more than it's able to do right now. I want to be able to do things like monthly giveaways, and I want to be able to communicate back and forth with my Patreons, let you guys have more input and say so in videos and what kind of videos I do and things like that. I will be producing, once I have some Patreons, some Patreon only content that may be more behind the scenes. We'll see how that goes. But if you guys want to check that out, please do. The link will be down in the description. Even if you're not interested in becoming a Patreon, and the tiers do start at like $1 a month. I made them very, very cheap. Even if you don't want to do that, please just follow the link and go check out the Patreon introductory video because I thought it was kind of funny. And I think it turned out kind of cool. So just, if you want to watch that and leave, that's fine. But anyway, let's get back to this other piece of art here.
Cover back on.
All right, so here we are back together and running.
The leaky spot is dry.
Everything looks good. I think it looks quite a bit better than the old dirty valve cover did. And some of you will notice we did trim the part off of the valve cover that covers the timing belt. This is partially for easier access later, and because I already have future plans for installing adjustable timing gears, and you need that access to be able to adjust them without having to pull the valve cover back off every time. Not necessarily a great idea if you're just a normal daily driven car. It can allow things to get down in here and cause the timing belt to be thrown. So if it's not something you're going to be able to keep an eye on regularly, I wouldn't do it. But if you do, you know, it's at your own risk. Last thing to do is just going to be to take it for a test drive. That's going to be it for this episode. Hopefully you guys found it at least somewhat entertaining. And that was pretty much it. So that was probably the worst, and I hope the worst video that I will ever make. I don't know what the deal was with that, but everyone starts somewhere. Leave me a comment down in the comments and let me know if you think I've improved any. I would hope so. I mean, just learning to turn the phone the right direction has made a pretty big difference. But in other news, thank all of you guys for all the help and support that you have given me over the year and a half or so that I've been doing this on a regular basis. I really, really appreciate everyone who does anything to help to support the channel and to help share it and show more people. And I am sorry to the person that I said that it would not be possible for me to make it to 1,000 subscribers without funding. Apparently I was wrong, and I underestimated the people who would support me. And that's still kind of astonishing. I am super happy to be where I am, but I have plenty more plans on how to expand the channel and continue to grow and continue to do new things. With that being said, make sure you guys like this video. You are subscribed to my channel if you're new here. Leave me any kind of comment. Just say hi. This is a big milestone. Just want to see who's here. And make sure you've hit the notification bell icon. And I guess I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and peace.